Are you sure? Are you right? I'm fine, bro. I got a bit of blood on my head, but I'm okay. We're all good. We're all good. There's a bit of blood on my head, but I'm alright.
So the car shut off completely, and the steering wheel just starts getting violently aggressive, like bloody shaking all over the shop, so I can't even get to the key.
Nobody really knows how many times we rolled. There's most people saying around 5 times we rolled. So we rolled you can hear it on the in-cab audio, just bang, bang. But I definitely thought one of us was going to be dead.
In the moment, under adrenaline, it feels like a crash happens like that so fast. In your memory, does it feel like it took forever? All right, welcome back to the Hey Big Mac podcast. Today I'm joined with Keegan and Mitch. This is the first time we've ever got a reoccurring guest in a row. Mitch, 2 in a row.
2 in a row, 3
Bloody
on the
hell.
total potty.
That's not too bad. You're most reoccurring and 2 in a row.
I guess I'm just around doing a lot of things all the time, aren't I?
Yeah, he's just out and about. And then we got Keegan, KP built.
Thanks for having me, mate.
No worries, mate. This episode is sort of a basic sort of documentary recap of events of what took place on Sunday night at Big Red in the Glasshouse Mountains, and sort of what's happened, where we're at now, how you boys are at, bit of the sporting industry. Yeah, we'll just get sort of stuck straight into it, I suppose.
Yeah, well, I guess I can start off with, obviously you guys listening and watching to this probably know already that I had the bot bus, which is known for. We're on Big Red and we rolled down quite violently. Mitchell was my passenger, and pretty much rode off the car. We've got a lot to talk about. The set is currently falling apart.
Sam's pushing insulation through the roof on the for the podcast.
Insulation, which is great for you.
Yeah.
So a Big Red had some failures. Car rolled back down, and luckily me and Mitch were able to survive it. Obviously we'll get a lot deeper into that.
Yeah.
But that was pretty much what happened and what we're going to be talking about. So I guess I can talk about.
I think it'd be good to start with sort of why were you in Queensland? Yeah. What were your events in Queensland that you're up here for, and what led to leading to that afternoon at Glasshouse?
So originally I was up in Queensland with my missus and my 2 good mates, Matt and Mel. Our plan was head to Fraser Island for a full week, come to Sunny Coast for 1 night, then head to Moreton Island. When we were over in Fraser, had the camper trailer on the back, did a little bit of damage to it, fixed that up, and then we weren't really keen on risking doing any more damage over in Fraser, so we cut our trip short by 2-3 days. And then when we come to Sunny Coast, I was like, may as well catch up with the boys, head down to Glassy, and finally tackle Little Red and Big Red, because I'd never even seen it in person before. So we went to Little Red first, walked that. That was no worries at all, had no issues there. And then the plan was to just tackle Big Red straight away, but there was another convoy of cars, probably 6 cars, and then that got there before us, but then there was another 2 cars on the track with pretty severe breakages. So we seen them there, and we were already on a bit of a schedule to get back for some plans that evening. So we basically decided we're not going to be able to drive Big Red because of our timing. So we'll help these guys out, get them through. And then once we can get around them, we'll do the bypass track on Big Red. Anyway, so there's a couple of hours in between all that. These guys started making moves and got out of our road. And that's when I did the bypass, which is literally just a walk in the park. And then it was when I got to the top is when I made the first dumb decision, when we were already behind on schedule. We literally had, I think, 20 minutes until we were meant to be going out for dinner or whatever it was. And then that's when I was like, while I'm here, may as well try the bonus line of Big Red. So that's when I kicked it left and started the first couple of bumps, no worries. And then I was on the last bump, which from what I've gathered, you usually have to sort of shuffle across. No one really drives at first bump. You sort of skimmy across, and then once you find traction, you'll bump up.
Yeah.
Nathan was spotting me from doing it in the dirt, and he was sort of repositioning himself to then re-spot me. So I was currently in neutral, on brake, not moving, and I was just waiting for his signal basically.
Yeah.
And then when he gave me the go ahead, I was like, all right, chuck it in drive, foot off brake, ready to go on the accelerator, like I've done a million times before. And as I made that transition, all in one motion basically, in drive, off brake, on the accelerator, the motor cut off and I was on a steep enough incline to where it started rolling back.
Yeah.
And I straight away, first thing was get on brake harder quickly, which obviously there's a good second delay in that reaction. And as I got on brake, and like obviously the car shut off completely, get on brake, and then because of the conditions of Big Red that day, it was just dusty. And so the brakes like lock up, but the car's also moving at a fast enough pace to where we're sort of almost jittering across the top of the rocks.
Yeah.
And then I realised, I'm like, oh, we're still moving backwards. Mitch was like, Keegan, stop.
There's an in-car audio where I was like, Keegan, stop. I was like, we're going too fast. Like,
It's not funny anymore.
You've let it go on enough. And then I'm like trying to get on the key to just like, at this stage, I've already decided in my head, I'm like, brakes aren't enough. Get on key, try to get it started, and then accelerate. And the steering wheel just starts getting violently aggressive, like bloody shaking all over the shop. So I can't even get to the key. And now we're really moving. And then at that stage, I'm like, if I keep going for the key, I'm dead here. So I grab the steering wheel and just brace. At this stage, I'm like, oh, this is it. We're going down. I initially thought we're doing one roll and one like sort of skid, and then like we're just going to stop and that's it. And it was a lot more violent than that.
Yeah.
It got violent. We kicked left backwards and then rolled into the main line of Big Red and then rolled. Nobody really knows how many times we rolled. There's most people saying around like 5 times we rolled. So we rolled you can hear it on the in-cab audio, just like bang, bang, bang,
I
bang.
think the video from the outside up the top of the hill and then the in-cab audio, you listen for it yourself, you get a sense of feeling like when you hear multiple rolls and like just smash, 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 you can put it together that it's a serious hit. Like
it just didn't stop. Like it was just
I was like, okay, last roll, and then we did the final head to toe, which is like we ended up smashing back into the hole and then all the way over back onto the cab where we stopped.
Yeah, and that's when we're literally facing upside down on the roof and facing the wrong way. So the last one was the most violent. That was like a full bloody kick flip off the front lip, bloody landed upside down facing the wrong way. And then, that was just like the biggest relief. Me and Mitch looked at each other and just like basically screamed. I'm like, Mitch, are you all right? And he's like, Keegan, are you all right? And we're just like relieved to hear each other's voices. And then, 5 seconds later, we're both standing out of the car, walking away.
Yeah, well, it sounds dark, but I definitely thought one of us was going to be dead.
Yeah.
Like when we were rolling, I kind of looked out the corner of my eye and it was just so violent, body everywhere, hands and legs everywhere. I was just bracing the roof as hard as I could. And when we got to the bottom, I was silent because I genuinely thought Keegan might not have been alive. And that's why I just went quiet and I was like, all right, I need to assess this. Yeah. And then Keegan screamed out, "You're right." And I was like, get fucked. Yeah. He's fine. And I was like, I'm right. I was like, are you sure you're okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. And I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah, even like the visual check, because like I heard his voice, but I just stared at him. I'm like, has he got bones sticking out? Is he missing anything? Is he like, I don't know. It was just weird to look at Mitch in his face and not see a single bit of blood or anything. Like I've got a little graze on my leg, which is like very like minute, like it'll be gone within probably 2 weeks time. Like a couple of bruises and stuff, and
is it weird how in the moment under adrenaline, like it feels like a crash happens like that so fast. In your memory, does it feel like it took forever? Like it was so slow motion?
It was fucking slow. Like I reckon I had a lot of time. But if you watch the video, it literally was over in like 3-4 seconds.
So quick.
But it felt like it went, the rollover felt like it went forever. I was like, when is this going to stop? Am I going to get knocked out? Like you had so much to think about.
It's really weird because I said the exact same thing when I was ran over by a car recently. Like I've had a lot of bad luck recently. So when I had my leg run over by a car, it was the same thing. It was like it happened within a split second, but I remember like in my head just thinking like, holy shit, I've just been run over by a car. My leg is in half right now. I'm going to lose my leg. I'm going to have to get it amputated, blah, blah, blah. And you have all these thoughts before you even hit the ground. And then it was the same thing in the car. Like, I'd already gone through my head. I'm like, well, 1, my car's fucked. 2, I'm dead. 3, Mitch might be dead here. 4, like this is still rolling. Like it's crazy. So yeah, it's so for
it's like
noise.
minutes of emotions that go through in milliseconds.
Yeah,
like it's a thing that you can't explain unless you've been put in that situation yourself.
100%.
Like whether it's, you know, motorbike crashes, car crashes, anything else like that's in a way traumatizing. Like it's adrenaline that gets back into your system. And even I'd like to say, because I got a call to come out and help yous grab the car and grab the trailer, and we would have been an hour and a half, 2 hours minimum until we got out there. And by the time I got down there, like I just ran straight down that hill, seniors, and yous were still so like amped up. I was like, are yous okay? Like I could see the adrenaline running through yous, and
I didn't feel a single bit of pain for probably about an hour and a half.
And then it's
because I've honestly can say I've been in a lot of like shit that's happened. I've never had adrenaline run so heavily through my body. Like I was fucking amped.
Yeah.
And that was, I wasn't sure if like anyone else had obviously done the checks. Like you got your partners and stuff down there and heaps of mates that we know really well. But I was like, adrenaline can put you aside from a lot of things. Do you have like internal bleeding, injuries, anything like that? And I remember looking at you, Mitch, and I was just like, are you okay? Like properly okay? And like,
everyone there was really good with that. Like I had people checking up on me very frequently. But yeah, it was weird because like same thing when I had my leg happen. I should have had adrenaline then, but I didn't. I felt 100% of the pain 100% of the time instantly until I was picked up from an ambulance 4 hours later.
Yeah.
This time, I think because of the length and the duration of the crash, the adrenaline was ridiculous. I got out of the car and I was like, oh, I can run a marathon right now. I'm good to go. And then, probably half an hour later, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a bit bruised. My ribs, my shoulder, I've definitely got bruising. And then like I had this graze on my leg. I'm like, oh, it's pretty big graze, but I can't even feel it. And then 2-3 hours later when the recovery was still happening, I'm like, I can barely walk now. Like I'm limping around and pretty keen for bed.
But, people were saying to me, they were like, fuck dude, your shoulder is not going to be okay tomorrow, because I had a massive big bruise on it. My head had a massive lump on it and a bit of a cut in it. And then like probably took like 2-3 hours. Then I had a fucking thumping headache. My shoulder was fucked. I was like, I proper started to slow down, and I was like, fuck, I just
well, Mitchell's balls deep in like pulling the spark plugs and shit out for me, because he was probably the most capable person there for it. And at the start he was like, let's just get this shit done, let's get this thing cranked up again. And then towards the end of it, it was sort of like, all right, get me out of this engine bay, I'm done now. And then the next morning is what we both seen each other, and we both had like whiplash, which was the after effects the next day. Which like, I didn't hit my head at all, but definitely felt like a really bad neck sprain sort of thing, like limited motion and stuff. But now I'm sweet.
For a bit of like a time of events sequence for everyone listening and watching, what time roughly did the rollover happen to, you know, getting it flipped back over to, you know, starting the recovery process out of there for when, you know, like myself and Sam only rocked up at a point of it was dark, the car was already back on its wheels, to, you know, starting to head back up the hill and getting on the trailer and stuff. Like it was a big night for a lot of people.
Yeah, so I think then the rollover was at about 5 p.m. And then it wasn't until probably 6 or 7 that we even started moving the car, because Do It in the Dirt was there with this tank thing that had done some serious damage, and that was sort of priority at the time, because where the car had rolled, we couldn't flip it back onto all four until that car had cleared. So the car was actually upside down for well over an hour, which I'm so surprised that it didn't bloody get oil everywhere, considering it did very well. But so it's probably 2 hours later, they cleared out the road. Jeff used his winch to pull us forward. Then we did a couple of special double line pulls, flipped it back over, pretty controlled. And then maybe 2 hours later that we'd got it running. And was sorted.
And by that point, I was there as well, and by everyone's then, jumping in with a brake cleaner and starter.
The news is well and truly out too, mind
crazy.
you. The video got posted by some dickhead 2 minutes after it happened. He basically did it, got reception at the top of the hill, and posted it and fucked off, and then didn't show his face. And then
it's a real dick insensitive move. And we know who the person is, and he is just a poofter that's trying to gain nothing more than to just annoy people. That's all it is. He didn't even use it for his own clout and attention.
Spread fake news too. He didn't even give me the chance to explain what had happened, or even give me or Mitch the time to even bloody
Say we're
process.
okay.
Yeah, process it. Like
old mate filmed it, clipped it, was probably there, and then just went, fuck this, I'm out.
yeah. Which like everyone that was there could have done that, but the people that actually have souls stayed there and looked after us and whatever. But yeah, and then so we got the car running, and then that same car that was in the road still had issues. So he'd done these CVs and tie rods and blah, 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 and he had to get up the same hill that I was trying to get up to then get to the car park at the top of Big Red.
Yeah.
Now, he started his recovery before us, and he like had no drive. So his recovery was probably a 2-hour process.
At least, running up and down
It
that
was
hill.
like we weren't really part of it because we were focusing on my car, but Do It in the Dirt were there. There was a Unimog there, and there was a lot of people focusing on that car, and it was basically like winch a couple of meters, take it back, straighten the wheels, winch a couple of meters, like 2 steps forward, 1 step back with that thing. And then when he finally got out of the road, my car was running now, but it was probably running on 3 or 4 cylinders. It had a crazy miss. I had the windscreen half caved in, and I was pretty shaken up too. So I'm like in the car trying to do what I can to help it drive up the hill, but we still set up winches and stuff as a backup in case there was another failure. And then
I think it's probably good to talk at that point is that straight after the crash, because of that video going out, you felt really rushed. I could see that is to get a post out yourself and to stop the speculation. And a lot of the rumours going around was, it's fuel cut and this, and which I suppose we later deemed wasn't really the case.
It wasn't the case.
And
So
a lot of that leads into everything of getting the car back going again. And
There was a lot of rumours about it being a dangerous car and saying he'd built it wrong, which a few people that said that are quite big influencers and probably shouldn't have opened their mouth and maybe seen us, maybe talked to us first about it before they went and made accusations and chatted shit about it. But anyways, that will be sorted. But
that's just part of the industry, really. Like people jump to conclusions. Like some people said I was in reverse, even though the brake lights weren't on. Some people said that stuff was removed from the car that wasn't, or this or that, or that the car just didn't have brakes at all when it did. Like even on that second hill, as I was recovering the
Mud
car,
Dog Hill beside
on the
it.
Mud Dog, we had the car off because I couldn't leave it running because it would overheat. I had it running, I had it off, and I was on a steep hill, and I had it on brake to test the brakes as well. Because in my head, I was like, I better make sure the brakes actually are working, and they were working fine on that hill. And then there's people just even making memes and stuff. So that's just part of that industry. And there's people that will take anything they hear and run with it. And you just in this industry, you really just got to take everything off face value and hear it from the people themselves first, rather than hearing what you see on Facebook and just running with that.
Yeah, I think it's hard when the sucky part is you weren't given the opportunity yourself to speak on it and actually put the real information out there. And I know I got a lot of it, Mitch got a lot of it, you got a lot of it, people going, what's this, that. I heard people the next day at work going, it was just fuel cut, like it was a stupid issue to have. And I'm going, you weren't even there.
Yeah, how do you know? Like,
and
the thing that started that was that stupid dickhead Instagram page for 4x4 Mayhem, who decided to go post it without any context, not knowing fucking anything about it. Quite selfish and fucking stupid of him.
Completely
I'm happy to
disrespectful.
fucking say that. And then it started in the comments where every fucking TikTok and Instagram mechanic professional who's never worked on a car in their life or been in a situation where they know what goes wrong has then decided to comment and make up accusations. Then dickheads who know absolutely nothing have decided to jump on that bandwagon and go, yep, that's right, because this guy seems like he knows what he's talking about. Like if you weren't there and you didn't do the diags to the car and figure out what was actually wrong with it, you have no fucking idea. Shut your fucking mouth.
How many like fuses and like relays and stuff do we move to swap around to figure out what was working, what wasn't? Like there was a lot that just people had no idea of. And I mean, it comes in, like I put a story up after we got out of there and I was like, we got the car out, everyone's okay, blah, blah, blah. And there's people sending me messages going, you don't even know what happened, it was fuel cut and blah, blah, blah. And I'm going, you clearly don't know. Who are you? I look on their profile, they're from Victoria, they're from New South Wales, they're from, NT. And I'm just going, you weren't there. You don't know what happened.
Well, some people just said I stalled. I'm like, it's an auto.
It's like an auto. I can't stall.
Where's stall?
The specs of the car. And they're like, you can't drive manual. He stalled it and rolled back. And I'm
Where's
like,
stall?
Okay.
There's too many keyboard warriors and it just makes for a shitty situation in something that I think you put a lot of those people in that same situation, they would be freaking out. They would be in a worse headspace, let alone, you know, coming out of something like that. You are not mentally all there when you should be.
Yeah.
And it's,
We've grabbed that whole situation by the balls, really.
big time.
Like, we're straight back on track. We're we're straight back into it, straight on the
tools.
tools.
Spice cooking in the
We
back.
you got to let us cook.
It has
son.
been a busy week.
Yeah, these boys have helped me a lot, and there's a lot of people outside right now that have helped a lot.
Still
You can
working
pretty
on
much
the
see-
car.
So we're recording this at Sam's right now.
Yeah.
As you can see, we're in the Built Not Bought engine room. I know you can hear those banging noises and toolboxes and everything in the background. That no one's stopping, and it's 6:30 at night.
They're still working on the car, as you can tell.
Yeah.
Which they're not meant to be, but they don't understand.
Everyone's too keen to help out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well, that's enough
Yeah.
of the negative,
Yeah.
dickheads. I do
yeah.
want to shed some light on the fucking sick people everywhere in the community that has
Everywhere.
spread the greatest words, sent the best messages, willing to give up their own time, even though we don't know them from Bar Soap, they don't know us from Bar Soap.
Yeah.
I've been getting messages of people like, hey man, like, I finished work at 4. I'll come and help you after hours.
yeah,
Like, you don't know me from Bar Soap, I don't know you from Bar Soap. To go out of your way and say that you're going to give up your time, which time is quite precious,
yeah,
and to do that for us, that's fucking, like, just want to thank everybody that did send thousands of fucking positive messages.
oh, heaps of messages, responses, everything. That all the companies, I'm sure you've got them as well.
Yeah.
People reaching out to me just because they're like, hey, if you can get this across to KP, we're happy to help. And like, it's a pretty heartwarming sort of, even for myself, to get those messages from people and go, you know, there's a lot of people in this industry that care. And
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
like
it's-
my inbox was just ridiculous, and I said from the start on my story, I basically said, I'm gonna like process this for a bit. Thank you for the messages, but I won't be replying. And
Yeah.
even then, I had people saying in their messages, I know you're not going to reply, or I don't expect you to reply, but just want to say this and just want to do this. I had people offering up their house because they knew I was now without a car, which was my house and transport.
Yeah.
And that, like, I've never met them, and they're like, "Oh, come stay at my house if you need a place to crash. I've got this part or this for your car. Like, I'm happy to donate this." All my sponsors that have already supported me and given me parts and stuff in the past, like, they already reached out and said, like, "Oh, we're covering you, bro. Like, we've got this for you. We're going to get straight on it. If you want it, like, let us know." So that everyone across the industry has just been insane.
yeah,
And
it's,
then, like,
it's been really good. Just the support has. Oh. The
Sam's
support-
stealing.
He's
Look at a
stealing.
wild Sam in the background stealing money right now.
Yeah. Oh, true.
You're taken from the poor, Sam. How could you do that? Open or closed?
Oh no, we're not playing that game again. It's only been one episode. Jesus. No, back into like all the people that were there that night that even just showed up at Glasshouse. Like being a local up here, I know a lot of them already, and there were boys just rocking up, running up and down hills with straps, anything they could help, water, and they didn't ask. They just rocked up and put in the effort and blood, sweat, and tears. They got
Even some of the
everything
boys
out
at
of
the
there.
top there, like, I know of them, and I know for a fact they're not like into the whole like social media thing or the influencer shit. Like,
Yeah.
I know for a fact that they are some of the ones that make memes and stuff, and those boys were at the top helping recover. And I
Yeah.
actually spoke to them after it because like we've had a bit of back and forwards before, like very jokingly, like nothing taken to the heart.
Yeah.
And I even said to him, I was like, "Oh, like I know me and you don't always see eye to eye, but I have the most like, utmost respect for you, that even though you don't particularly like me or what I do or any of us, blah, blah, blah," he still was there for hours on the winch, blah, like just
Yeah.
helping
They
out.
understand
And
the
then he's
severity.
basically said the same thing. He's like, "Oh, it doesn't matter who you are. Like, I wouldn't wish this upon anyone."
No.
And then I shook his hand and had a huge amount of respect for that.
Yeah. It speaks volume about a person when they can come out and do that stuff, and
Sort of put their pride aside and do what's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
that's exactly right. And it sort of takes away from the fact, leading on afterwards that, those people are still going to be making memes and, talking their shit and having fun and whoever they may be. And but to know when something counts and they're calling and going, we can offer parts, and they're the last people you expect to do anything. And the first people you expect to be there are nowhere to be seen, and they're the ones talking shit. And it's,
Like Mitch
surprising.
touched on before, there's a few people that we can't mention, but it's like surprisingly like what some of the things they say when you'd expect differently from them.
When they preach different things on social media and then they go across and say that sort of stuff, it's quite like, okay.
Yeah. They're the
That's who
first
you are.
ones. They're also the first ones to call that will call you on the night asking for the goss, just so they can go, almost be the leader of the outside group that are going, we know what's going on, it's just a shit part of social
but
media.
It's just part of it at the end of the day.
What do you got to say, Mitch?
I was like, I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah.
I'll hold my tongue.
Is there anything you would have changed about the day leading out there?
I don't drive up the hill.
Yeah. Obviously, in hindsight, it's easy to say. Obviously, I wouldn't have rolled my car. But at the same time, don't really have any regrets in life. Things happen for a reason. Already, my whole, mentality, I think if I wasn't getting stuck straight back into what's happening behind the scenes, I'd probably be in bed crying right now or just being down in the dumps. I would have probably caught the next flight home, just cracked the shits and just sat at home sulking. But with what's going on behind the scenes, I'm already more excited for what's happening than I've ever been for this build before. And don't get me wrong, I've still lost a lot of money on this, but it's sort of what's happening behind the scenes is actually my dream build. Yeah. And is going to be very cool, and it's forced me to do things I would never have done unless put in a situation similar to this. Yeah, is all I'll say.
No, but how does it affect you mentally, sort of emotionally, going into future wheeling and approaching trips and maybe the same obstacles again in the future? And is it something you want to keep going and doing, all the high, steep rock hauling, wheeling, or stick to the touring dunes and?
Yeah, 100%. Building cars is what I love, and using them is what I love. But I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm the toughest bloke in the world and say, this hasn't affected me at all, and I'm not losing sleep on it, because I'd be lying. It's the same when I did my leg. You lose a lot of sleep. It sticks with you for quite a while, maybe forever. You do get flashbacks. You do dream about it. It's a weird one. You really just can't explain it unless... sort of someone's experienced the same thing, which is what I sort of had a lot of people messaging me saying, I've had experiences similar to that, had bad rollovers, and they weren't saying in a bad way, they were giving me the heads up. They're just heads up, this will stick with you, man. Even just talking to my parents about it, they're back at home, and even then I've played it down to them. I don't think they knew how bad it actually was. They're not on social media, so I just told them, look, some shit's gone down, the car's fucked, but I'm all right. But it's that sort of thing. What me and Mitch experienced in that cab is going to be something that you don't forget, and because we didn't hit our heads bad enough to forget it, it's sort of stuck there. So in a weird way.
But you'd be the very similar Mitch,
I think going forward, it's going to be one of them things. I'm not going to be fuck, it didn't bother me, I'm going to go do Big Red again. Fuck no. I'm going to very carefully select my tracks from now on and think, all right, where am I if this happens? What am I if this happens? It's kind of just showing you how quickly shit can go south when you don't expect it. And it's kind of just made me slow down a little bit. I'm not indestructible. Okay, we're going to take a step back and actually think about the fucking consequences.
With my next build as well, now it's going in a different direction. I'll definitely be back hard wheeling again, but it won't be for some time. Not necessarily because of the mental side of it, but because of the way the build's going now. It's going to be very purpose built, specific for something else. And then down the track, when the funds are right and the times are right, that's when I'll be building another car that'll be separately, specifically built for something more like rock crawling, probably with an internal cage, stuff like that. That I'll be a lot more comfortable in and not care if I write it off again or this or that. So it'll be a while. I'll give myself time to be back on the tracks, especially ones that sort of violent and dangerous.
Exactly, It's it's a big lead up to, I suppose, we're a week out from Brizzy show. You were meant to have the car there. Obviously that has completely changed now. What's future events looking like for other shows, other trips? I mean, you're meant to be at Morton Island right now.
So we're meant to be on Morton Island, so obviously that's canned. We've been behind the scenes, the missus has been calling up them because they usually have a no refund policy, and because we've just lost all the money on the car, we're surely cut us some slack here, can we have a refund? Had to get a medical certificate, and now they've done that. With the shows, last year was my first show at the Melbourne show when I was on the stand with Polaris.
Yeah.
And then I really enjoyed that. So this year was going to be the year of the show. So that's why I was like, oh yeah, go up to Brizzy, hit up the Brizzy show, maybe hit up Sydney, and then definitely Melbourne again. Even the guys down in Victoria, Car Builders, they host a yearly like car meet thing, which is always pulling in good numbers. And I spoke to Adrian only recently about that, and he's like, yeah, we've got another one coming up. We want you there. We've got a spot for you. So I'm definitely got some deadlines, which is always a good thing to have, is deadlines. Like if you've got a deadline, it gives you something to work for. Even if you don't meet it, it's something to aim for. If you don't have anything to aim for, you'll slack off and you'll get lazy.
Yeah, well, we've got a pretty crazy deadline at the moment. It's definitely keeping the boys motivated. If we meet it, we meet it. If we don't, we don't.
At this stage, this might not even go out before what's happening is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty full on.
We're moving fast.
These are normally a 2 to 3 day turnaround on the potties, and
we're probably going to be
who knows,
doing something.
I say, depending on when this is released, obviously your permission. Like I'd be looking at probably Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, which is right before me taking 3-4 days off for Brizzy show. So
well, I've also got a video going out on my YouTube, which is a lot shorter form content. And then this will also go out at the same time. And if what we're doing behind the scene hasn't been revealed yet, then stay tuned because it won't be far behind, hopefully.
If not, we'll get you straight back on here, maybe after I get back from Brizzy show, and we'll just have a bit of a recap. And But I think more importantly, I think nonetheless, you're still going to come down to the show with us and walk around and hang out and get to still give everyone the opportunity that is a fan of yourself and, come up and meet you. I'm sure you probably have stickers and stuff there.
Yeah, definitely, I had stickers printed out for giving out to people at the show. I actually had even people messaging me saying, knowing that I'm from Victoria, like, I never thought I'd see your car in person. So I was literally coming to the show just to see your car because I thought it'd be a good opportunity. So now I feel bad about that. But regardless, I'll be there. Something might else be there as well. We'll see.
Perfect. Yeah, that's a sneaky teaser. I just want to finish off with like a couple of name mentions just to finish off everything with the people that are out there, everyone that's offered help. I mean, you can probably dive into names if we miss out on any. I think the main ones are probably like Nathan and Jeff from Do It in the Dirt, Jay with the Unimog that was out there. I know like there was Jared Casey, Fleety, Stephen Fleet.
Yeah. Lockie was one on the winch up the top there.
Darcy Selleck, one of the boys. Obviously Sam. I mean, there's so many people out there. Kyra as well. Obviously the partners.
Huge shout out to Kyra. Like she was there with my missus, and in the heat of the moment, I didn't even think about, oh shit, my missus has just watched me basically die. Like she thought I was dead. And Kaya was right next to her and just grabbed her, and straight away emotional support there. And it wasn't probably a couple of minutes until Mitch was like, oh, yeah, shit, go see your missus. And then I ran up the hill and made sure she was all right. And, she was beside herself at this time, but she's all right now. That was all the people on the night. And then, I guess the days since then, like, I got all my mates, so, like, Mickey, Ben, the boys that are from down Brizzy Way, they'd only just gotten back from a trip. Mickey literally got from New Zealand, flew in, and was like meant to be going home to rest up, and he was like, no, fuck that, I'm coming straight up to Sunny Coast. And he's pretty handy on the tools. He's handy on the tools, and so he's jumped balls deep into it, and he's helping behind the scenes. Matt and Mal, who are meant to be right now on the beach at Morton, literally canned their trip,
balls deep,
and they're like, they've just taken like 3 weeks off work to obviously relax, and now they're pretty much working. So like stuff like that doesn't go unnoticed. Even Mitch and his missus, like, they've offered up their house now. So recently we've been staying at Airbnbs because they were already pre-booked, and now we've run out of that, and we're like, obviously we can keep paying for that, but it's just a waste of money when there's people offering up their spots. Like Mitch's missus was nice enough to say that they've got a room to crash at if we need it. Everyone's just like offering, so like I'm sure there's names I've missed, which I apologise for, but regardless, like it doesn't go unnoticed. If there's anything I can ever do down the track, I'm more than happy to help out where I can. I think everyone in this industry is like that though. Like, I know if Matt rolled his car, he knows that I would help him straight away. So I guess it's just that mentality of being like, you've got your mates back, and you don't have to.
And
ask
I
for
think
anything
you'd be. I think I just heard that camera turn off too, so these might be just audio on a
shit.
screen now, but we'll wrap it up soon. But I think if any of us was in the same situation down in Vic High Country or anywhere like that, you'd be one of the first people to reach out and offer help and
Give up your paddock for us.
give up a dirt yard and
Yeah, we're at Sam's at the moment. God, it's weird having this access to tools and hoys. I'm like looking at this hoys. I'm like, what the hell is this thing?
it's like one of those sheds that if you can't find something to do it, you probably got the wrong shed.
Yeah.
It's like
You're not looking hard enough.
It's funny. Like KP, hats off to him, has built his whole car in a fucking paddock.
Yeah.
Like a full grass paddock with fences that horses probably eat the grass in. And then we've brought him up here and we're like, welcome to paradise, boy.
Yeah.
It's been unreal. And I'm usually on my own as well. And now I've got like 50 people helping out. So
Yeah. It's good. Everyone's chipped in. Everyone's helping out. Like I know you. That first day, you're sort of sitting there like, oh, I don't want to be taking over Sam's space and using hoist. And I was like, honestly, man, jump in
I'm
there.
very stubborn
use
at
it.
times. I don't really like asking for help. So it's been hard to accept that. But I think it's just knowing that, that's just what people do. And people in this industry are happy to do that.
Yeah.
So it is awesome.
No, 100%, mate. Well, I'm happy you're both alive still. You're both well. Everyone's high-spirited. It's been good to see the last couple of days. I mean, thanks for putting on a barbecue for everyone even the other night. Like,
Appreciate the beers
it was
the other
just,
night.
it goes a long way to even show you how much you do appreciate everyone's help that's,
It's the least I
firsthand
can
reaching
do.
out. And, I mean, onto the rebuild and get back into it.
Straight back into it.
No, that's a nice, easy sort of recap. Anything else you just want to finish on? Socials, buddy, special mentions to anyone?
Yeah, go follow Mitch on Instagram. We've got to get him to 10K if he's not there already.
If
by
I'm
the time
not at
this goes
10K,
out there.
Man, I've been struggling to grow my Instagram.
He just survived a rollover, so the least we could do is get him to 10K.
Give him some followers.
Follow everyone's socials. Subscribe to Keegan's YouTube. There'll be
Yeah.
a lot of cool stuff coming on there. It's definitely going to be one of the channels to definitely look out for.
Yeah, and message any of us if you've got any questions to ask, I guess, or anything else you want to cover. Like, I'll probably be doing another potty with Mac. More in depth in terms of like just even the history of like what I do and
Just where
stuff,
you've started,
and
how
to
you got
build
into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is more like a dedicated one to
Just
do with this
a
incident.
series of events.
So I guess let us know.
Bloody beautiful. I suppose this last thing is probably going to be a bit more footage and stuff come out on your YouTube channel for specifically over the next couple of weeks and all that. And
Well, by the time this is out, you can jump to KP's channel and watch the crash.
Yeah, 100%.
Exactly.
Yeah, you'll be able to watch it. There's a fair few angles. I don't know if I'll post them all, but yeah, there'll be all the angles. Well, most of the angles outside, and then we'll also be posting the in-cab audio because we had a phone rolling, but it wasn't filming, like, because we weren't really concentrating on getting the right angle in the cab.
Yeah, I
we
was
were
like, oh,
pretty
it's
much
not
trying
his
to
good
survive.
side. Let me just put my hands on the roof and save myself real
So
quick.
there's some pretty gnarly audio, I guess, that'll show you like what was said or wasn't said in the cab between me and Mitch. And you can also just hear the bloody violence in the cab.
I think if it's okay with you boys, I might play the audio at the start of this episode to sort of put in depth for people, because as soon as I heard it and Mitch showed it to me, first thing I said to you was, that just gave me the chills.
Yeah, makes the hair stand up for sure.
It got me the chills now thinking about it. So it's pretty full on, but
hopefully no one ever has to experience anything like that again.
Definitely.
Drive safe, guys.
Yeah.
Drive fucking safe.
Or
Drive
just
safe
stick
and
to
just
mall crawling.
Yeah.
TikTok.
Stay to your fucking Woolies car parks and post your B-roll out in a
Or
grass
just,
paddock.
don't get into four drives. Just
Nah, stay off.
play with like
Electric
Hot Wheels or
quads
something.
and just be a gamer or something.
no,
Fortnite.
just be careful. Anything can change at any second, and you never know when. We've all been there, so
100%.
appreciate it, boys. Thanks for coming on.
Too
Thanks for
easy.
having us, mate. It's always good chatting shit with you.
That's it. So let's go back out, maybe get some dinner.
Back in the tools.
Cheers.
Fuck yeah.
I reckon that'll go all right.
I'm going to skits at these cunts if that was them. What was that Sam?
What, that?
No, the knocking was that.
Oh, that was a bit of all of them. I was watching the levels. It wasn't really picking up. Just here.